Um, okay, great. So thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is David Saul. I'm one of the account managers here at LEGO Education. Today we're going to be talking about building engaging hands-on summer programs with LEGO Education. Just as a couple of housekeeping notes, this is going to be somewhere around 30 minutes. Again, we want to be respectful of your time. We appreciate you joining us today. If you do have questions and you can access the chat, feel free to just type in your questions as we go. A couple of us will be looking through the chat and trying to answer those questions in real time, but we should have some time at the end for like a live Q&A for anything that was unanswered, or if you can't use the chat or you just want to think of something at the end. So totally fine if you wait till then. And I think with that, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm not going to play a very active role in today's session. My real job here is to introduce my wonderful colleague, Dr. Caitlin Boline. Caitlin's a longtime educator and administrator and is now one of my colleagues here at LEGO Education, supporting school districts across the country with implementing hands-on learning in a variety of settings, including summer. So she's an expert at what we're going to talk about today and is definitely the right person to be here with. You're in good hands. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Caitlin.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David. It is so lovely to meet everybody. Like David said, my name is Caitlin, and I've previously been an educator in Florida, Chicago, the Dallas area, Grand Rapids area, and I'm now right outside of Seattle, where I was most recently a middle school and high school principal. My major love is ELL and bilingual special populations. So really, really excited to talk with you today about how you can support any number of students that you have and engage them with LEGO Education Solutions. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. So first, we definitely want to level set with what our mission is here at LEGO Education. So our mission is to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow, enabling every student to succeed. I always take the liberty to underline every student to succeed, because not only do I believe that, but I know that that's possible through the solutions that we offer. And we know that in order to be able to make every single student succeed, who needs to be engaged? Students, families, and staff. We all need to be working together to ensure that students are really receiving these high-level grade opportunities, that they are coming to school to receive those high-level learning opportunities, and that we are making the most of them. So before we jump into specifics on solutions or specifics about what a summer program could look like, I really want to make sure that I'm giving you the most important information possible on what is possible using LEGO Solutions and what is involved, so that when you're thinking about how that would possibly fit into your program, some of these big questions are asked. So the first thing is that all of our solutions were created using a step-by-step intuitive system. So if I am a student whose first language is not English, or maybe I'm a dual language student, or maybe I'm a student who has neurodivergencies or challenges along with my strengths, or I'm identified in the special education program, I can not only use these solutions, but I can also use these solutions with a general education peer to make the learning experience as inclusive as possible. And so we'll get into ratios and how many sets we suggest for students. But in general, typically it is a 2-to-1. So you would have one set or one solution to 2 students. And that's so that both students are interacting and performing lockstep with that lesson. And it doesn't matter which 2 students you put together, because it's possible using that intuitive system. Additionally, all of our lessons and all of our materials include appropriate suggestions for pacing and differentiation strategies already built in. So if you are, knowing that you're going to be following a lesson, we have all these different scaffolds built in so that teachers can lean into those based on the populations that they're serving. We also are available in 21 different languages. So our lesson plans and our student-facing materials are in 21 different languages, which is great if students are literate in their first language or literate in a second language, or you're supporting a dual language program. Next, we have low prep, high yield, engaging lesson plans and units. So with our solutions, they are ready to go. Of course, we know that Our solutions are as strong as the incredible educators that are in front of them, but they do not require that your educators are having to spend a ton of time figuring out how to support students with these lessons. We want them to be ready to go. We want them to be intuitive, and we want students to have incredible ownership over their learning. This is important to my heart. Multiple opportunities to listen, speak, read, and write. Whether or not you are learning another language, it's so important to be able to have those foundational skills on how to listen to others, work with others, speak, and then have those additional reading and writing opportunities with your learning. And finally, but absolutely last but not least, don't stress. All of our solutions are aligned to your standards. Whether you are in Texas and you're using the TEKS, or you're in Virginia and you're using your own thing, or you're using NGSS, we have you covered, and we have all those alignments available to you. So now that we have some of that out of the way, I want to give you, we're still high level here. I want to give you a few snapshots of some success stories that we have in recent summers with some of our customers. So here's an example, South Bend Schools in Indiana, 16,000 students. Their focus for their summer learning was learning loss. So how are we using LEGO Education Solutions to really support students and accelerate their learning during the summer months, during summer school? They self-reported that their student engagement, I have a ghost in my computer and it loves to go ahead, so let's go back, that their student engagement went from 97% engaged to 0 when they were not using LEGO Education Solutions with whatever curriculum they had decided before. And they did identify that there were 0 student behavior incidents. Students want to use these materials, they want to access them, and they don't want to jeopardize not being able to use them. So we do find that when students have this familiar modality in front of them that they're really excited about, not only are they engaged with the content, but they're so engaged with the content that they're not, looking for other things to do. Next, this is a district that I was personally attached to. This is a very large district in the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to narrow it down to Oregon and Washington for you, so you can take a guess about what district this might be. But last summer, we partnered with them, and they said to us, we need to concentrate on learning loss, and we need our kids to come so that we can support them. And they said, our kids vote with their feet. They will show up if it's engaging and interesting to them. And what they found was just from 2022 to 2023, they had their attendance rise from 50% to 100% for the full program. And I said, hold on, I need more information. What do you mean by that? And they said, no, that's exactly what we mean. And I said, I'm going to need some more information, because they were reporting that their middle school had 100% engagement for the entire program. That's incredible, because we know your educators are ready to go. We want to support students. We can't do that if they are not coming. So they had 100% full participation and their students were engaged. Also, I just have to, because I was so closely partnered with this one, I'm so sorry for my slides. The district director that was in charge of summer school, her personal child was not in summer school, but children in her neighborhood were. And the other children in her neighborhood went up to her son and said, hey, we haven't seen you at Lego camp. Why aren't you there? And he went home all upset to his mom. And he said, Mom, why don't I get to go to Lego camp? And she said, well, maybe next summer. She wasn't going to, blow the other's cover, but they were so excited and proud and engaged. And they felt so lucky to be able to go to Lego summer camp. But really, it was summer school.
I like your Northwest.
So just a reminder to go ahead and mute yourselves. Thank you so much. I think somebody did that for us. Again, we know that you are tackling a lot right now, and you probably have people coming into your office, so we appreciate this time with you. Additionally, now, depending on the states I've been in, sometimes it's no problem getting people for summer school. Other times they are, you are being begged to teach summer school. In this particular district, they had a really hard time finding teachers to commit to summer school. This coming up school year, it is January. They already have a wait list for teachers who want to teach summer school this summer because of the experience that they had using LEGO Education Solutions. Additionally, those teachers that were involved last year, they have requested and have asked, hey, can we use some of these solutions in our core classroom, because we found them really valuable and we're really excited about them. And then additionally, they said, we are so excited to be able to create really strategic assessments now that we are anticipating that all of our students are coming. So that was really exciting. And then finally, oh, am I missing one? Oh, I skipped over Midwest. We had a district in the Midwest, around 50,000 students, and their focus was not learning loss, but how are they enriching ELA and math? So they were really focused on project-based learning and really providing enrichment opportunities for students that were focusing on ELA and math. And all of their goals and activities were able to seamlessly align to the curriculum that they were using by using extensions with the ELA and the math. So just a few snapshots. I know myself, we are educators. We want to steal from others. We're nosy. We are not so exclusive that we're like, oh no, that's just for me. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what's working for other people. So a few snapshots to share with you, and we do have other success stories that we could share if you were interested. Just reach out to your account manager. We'd love to connect you to those. Okay. My computer has been very excited to get to this slide. So now that we have kind of an overview, let's talk about what is the LEGO Learning System. So the LEGO Learning System is made up of a few different components. First, you have your curriculum. FYI, our curriculum is always free at all times and always available. You're never signing into anything. You're not paying a subscription fee. You can access all of our lessons right now on LEGO Education. So they're organized by grade level, they're organized by what your focus is, and by what solution you choose. And so those are ready, they can be printed, they're in multiple languages, those are always available to you. Additionally, you have your materials. Our materials are sustainable. Once you purchase our materials, they are ready to go for as long as you need to use them. You're not buying any additional subscription fees. There's no additional things that you need to invest in each year unless you decide to grow the program. But our materials are plastic bricks and intelligent hardware that last a really long time. So you can continue to use these materials over and over and over. Our software, if you are investing one of our digital technology options, we have an app and different software that supports those solutions. That is additionally always available, always free. We don't take any student information. There's no login information, and you can access it through Google Chrome, iPad, any device that you have. Your students will be able to access that software that is free. And then finally, we know how important it is that the educators that are using these materials with students feel prepared, feel engaged, feel empowered, and they feel like they have that efficacy to just get the job done. And, you know, I can speak for myself. I've traveled at this point almost all over the country with LEGO Education, working with educators, and people will say, I got to tell you, the pieces scare me. And we're like, the Lego bricks are not scary. They are organized. Kids actually have a ton of ownership over it because they want their materials to be ready when they're ready. So that's something that we support educators with of, when you invest in professional development, because the professional development piece is an investment. Once your teachers are trained, then they're trained, but you do invest in that professional development piece because we support them with how to manage the materials and then how to really dig into those lessons and make the most of them. So those are the overall components. We are going to watch a very brief video, seeing some of our solutions in action, and then we're going to dig a little bit deeper to talk about what the individual products and solutions are.
Our students deserve authentic hands-on learning experiences.
It definitely does not feel like school, but we are definitely learning.
Now is the time to be bringing joy back to learning.
Students have to connect with what they're learning, and through joy, they'll have meaningful experiences that will stay with them.
I love playing with Legos, I love coding, so when you get to put those together, it's literally a dream come true. And then adding the factors that you get to work with other people, it was awesome.
If they feel joy, they are intrinsically motivated. They're feeling more confident in themselves.
LEGO has a mission to transform the way kids learn.
This is something that I've always wanted to put in the hands of our students.
When it comes to computer science, the coolest thing is to see the multiple ways that someone can solve a problem.
For us, Lego Education was a natural fit. It has that familiar name of Lego, and it allows the students to access it at any level.
I can't put into words how appreciative I am that I got to do this with them.
STEAM belongs everywhere, in the school day, out of the school day, at home.
I think every school should do it. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to have fun. It's a win-win.
Oh, I it always gives me the feels. It's so exciting to see children actively engaged, excited about their learning, and so proud about what they're doing. And I always say, I always bring it back to when we talk about all students, we really mean all. We want all students to not only be successful, but to feel successful. As a previous middle school principal, where we had over 70 languages just at my specific school, I can't tell you how many times I would walk into classrooms and see my ELL students just not able to engage, not having the ability to access what was being taught because there weren't these touch points to be able to do that. And then we had students that had just recently come from Afghanistan, students that had recently come from Myanmar that were able to be actively engaged with these solutions because they were so intuitive and visual. And we were then able to not only make them successful, but build in that feeling of feeling successful, which is so huge for building that confidence in learning. So let's talk about our digital solutions. So everything we do involves technology. Some of that has digital technology and some of that has non-digital technology. Our digital solutions, we always want to make sure that we have a continuum of learning. So that starts at pre-KK and goes all the way up through 6 through 8 and beyond. With that said, students can access and be successful at any point with any of these lessons, but we always want to make sure that we're providing a through line if that's what a district wants to invest in. So with Coding Express really sets that foundation for coding. So students are building a track, they realize a track, there's a pattern there, you can see little color tiles there, the red, the blue, the green. And when you put a color tile on the track, that then dictates what the train does. The train has a color sensor on the bottom, and it's setting in motion for me that I know that when I do something and I put something down and I know what it's going to do, I can then change the outcome of what is going to happen. From there, we build that foundation of coding, and then we go up to Spike Essential. Spike Essential is designed for 1st through 5th grade. And this is our digital offering, which students build their build, and then they code it. So their build might have, there was an example in the previous video where you are building a machine that needs to move forward. Sometimes it may be with wheels or with other things, and then you're coding for it to move forward, turn, maybe you have some obstacles. And so each lesson has a scenario. That scenario is provided to the students using the 500 most commonly used sight words. And then they're able to build a solution to that problem and then code for it. We also always want them to be able to iterate on it. So how can you expand this? How can you change the code? How can you, that foundation that's set, how can you then build something and then make it do something, and then now you see the outcome of that? So Spike Essential has the intelligent hardware, the different sensors for students to be able to complete those builds. From there, we then go on to Spike Prime. Spike Prime is for older students, 6th through 8th grade and beyond. It has additional motors, additional sensors that students can use, and the builds are a little bit more complex, while always having the option to differentiate and scaffold if needed. And then here's our progression of learning, specifically when it comes to our digital technology. So like I said, we have our action bricks. That's really our early learning. Then students at the elementary level can move into that icon block when they're ready. And you don't have to do this class by class. You can do this with individual groups. If I'm ready to move on from icon blocks, I can then move on to word blocks. And then this sets us up for pre-Python and Python coding. And if you are not familiar with coding, Python coding is the code that coders are using. So thinking about how you could have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that are proficient in Python coding before they even get to high school and they get access to those specialized classes. So all of this is in service of really supporting that being able to code with Python. All that to say, if you are here for middle school, they can absolutely start with middle school and still have the same outcome. So then we are going to move on to our non-digital solutions. So this is really more of the physical science space. So we start with our STEAM Park, and STEAM Park has a number of different events in the amusement park that teach different types of physical science. So we're talking about gravity, we have gears, force and motion, those types of concepts. And then they get more complex. I'm going to show you in the next few slides how they expand on one another. They get more complex with Brick Q Motion Essential. That is our 1st through 5th grade offering that students can use. And then again, even more complex at the 6th through 8th grade level. We have things like really special weighted bricks that can change the outcomes. We're talking about gravity, and there's no digital technology, but still tons of technology that students are engaging with and learning through. And actually, I love these next few slides because it really shows you that progression of learning for students. So we are going to focus just specifically on ramps. So at the early learning level, they are observing what happened when an object is placed on a ramp. What happens? Well, it moves down because gravity is pulling it down. When you go to Brick Q Motion Essential, now we're exploring how gravity affects the motion of an object. And there are different variables that students are using to be able to create different data points. This is all about collecting data, looking at their data, looking at the constants, looking at the variables, and really digging into those science components. And then finally, for grade 6 and up, they're exploring the different relationships between mass and motion and how that occurs on an inclined plane. So really a lot of really deep ways to expand on the learning and to create those foundations that are moving grade to grade. So in early learning, we're making predictions. In grades 1st through 5th or 2nd to 5th, they're designing, building, and testing their builds and models. And then later they're brainstorming, designing, building prototypes, testing it, iterating it, rebuilding it, etc. You are probably wondering to yourself, what does summer school look like with LEGO Education? We have all of our units and our lessons set up online for core curriculum or for however you would want to use it. But we know that summer can take on a different look depending on what kind of program you are offering. So we have a number of different options for summer school offerings. This is one option. So your teachers would have a scope and sequence, and it would guide them through program at a glance. So what that week was going to look like. We do support multiple weeks. And then they would have time during the day that is not just LEGO specific. So connecting it to literacy, connecting it to different things, team building, other skills like that. And then, of course, getting into that main lesson, which has a fully ready to go lesson plan available to the teacher. Additionally, this is just one example, but really we would want to know from you, hey, this is the type of program I'm supporting. I have a 90-minute block that I need to support students with. And in that 90-minute block, we want to do enrichment. Or I'm looking for a full day program and we want to have some time for learning loss skills. So we can really support you in a number of ways for a number of different programs that you have. Additionally, LEGO Education, we are all over the country, but our headquarters is in Boston, Massachusetts. And we have a special relationship with Tufts University, which is in Boston, and they have these really incredible placemats that they have available that you can use middle school and on. So you can be using these at the high school level as well. And actually, Tufts University, their engineering students, they use Spike Essential, Spike Prime, our different solutions in their engineering classes. And then they're also creating these really incredible challenges for students to dig into. So just another example of something we offer, depending on what kind of program you have. Additionally, these are additional curriculums that we have that are free, available anytime to you online. We have Rebuild the World, which focuses on STEAM heroes and learning how professionals use STEM and STEAM in everyday life. We have Build to Launch, which was a collaboration that we had with NASA with the Artemis launch. That was, I think, just a few years back, 2 or so, not even a full 2. And that really focuses on space and different skills there. And then we also have Build to Change, which is creating imaginative solutions for real world problems. And so students are given these problems and they are creating and iterating and coding for real world problems. So just a really quick snapshot of the different types of programs and programming and curriculum that we can offer. We definitely would want to know from you more specifically what would best meet your program's needs. And then we know, again, I've said this is the 3rd or 4th time that I'm talking about professional development. We want to be sure that your teachers feel ready to go, empowered, encouraged, excited to really deliver these lessons in a really strong and meaningful way. And so first off, just being a part of LEGO Education and investing in our solutions, you are a part of our customer success program. And so your teachers automatically can be linked to our customer success program, which offers them different resources. It connects them to other educators. It provides additional tools and things that other educators, as well as people from my team, Education Impact, or other LEGO Education friends are sharing. Additionally, and this is a separate purchase to investing in the bricks, these are other options that we offer for professional development. So I would highly encourage, if you're thinking, hey, we're going to do this large implementation at our district, we really want to make sure that all teachers are on the same page and they get this really robust learning before they're then tasked with multiple weeks of really high impact learning. And so the in-person facilitated learning, this is an in-person hands-on workshop with a LEGO trainer that can support your teams. This could be a full day. You're committing to a full day, but that could look a number of different ways. You could do the entire full day. You could have an AM and a PM session. There's a number of different ways that we could work with you for that. And then finally, we offer virtual coaching. There are so many different ways that you can utilize this. One way that I see districts utilizing this is they say, hey, you came in, you did that on-site learning, that was really wonderful. We don't quite need that again, but we need a touch point. We want our teachers to be able to dig in, get their questions answered, get some additional learning. Oops. Okay. Get some additional learning, and they just need a touch point. They don't need a full day. And so we can offer that through virtual coaching, which is shorter. So those are our different professional development options. Again, we always want to make sure that it is specific to what you're doing at your school site, and so your account manager can walk you through that. And all that to say, you just got so much information. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We really, really appreciate it. If you got an invite to come to this, then you have the resource you need to reach out to your account manager for any extra information that you may need. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing screen so we're all seeing each other. And right now, a few things. You are absolutely welcome, encouraged to stay on. We're going to answer some questions that maybe you have. We also know that you are super busy, so we will not be offended if you need to go continue your school day. We so appreciate the time that you gave us, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining us. With that, I'm going to kind of turn it back over to David. You've been monitoring the chat, and I want to know if there's anything that hasn't been answered in the chat that we can dig into a little bit deeper.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Caitlin. Just something really quick. If you, for some reason, didn't you're not sure who to reach out to, you didn't have an account manager reach out to you, you ended up here through a colleague or something, I'm going to put an email address in the chat where you can reach our sales team directly, and we'll put you in touch depending on your district with your account manager, because we're all regionally based. So
Thank
feel
you
free
for
just
that,
to ping us with
David.
that.
Here I'm telling
No
people
problem.
things that aren't true. Thank you so
No.
much.
Oh no, it's mostly true, but I just want to make sure that no one feels like, oh, what do I do? It looks like Diana is raising her hand. Diana, do you want to come off mute and ask your question?
Okay, I'm operating a learning center for homeschooling. And what I want to do is use it for enrichment activities. Like even if, say like creating buildings. So they're doing it like architects, and then they're getting their math in it, they're getting their English, they're getting their science all built together. And then they learn how to build communities or whatever it is to get them ready for, like, if they want to go into city planning or if they want to go into architecture. That's my focus on one of the lessons. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That is your focus for wanting to invest in Lego education?
That's one of them, yes.
Okay. So what I can definitely say is our lessons have a wide variety of different topics that they cover. So there are components to things that are structural, architecture, etc. But we also have a wide range of different topics that we cover. So when I'm thinking about vehicles that are moving, that's not necessarily buildings, but that's still part of, something that you would need to keep in mind when you are city planning. So all that to say, and this is a Caitlin thing, but I think my colleagues would agree with me. Our lessons are incredible. They are all in service of providing this really rich foundation for students so that students can build and create whatever they want. And so to that I say, yes, get them, start them through units, get them really understanding how to use the motors, how to use the gears, how to code using those lessons, because then from there, they can use not only our bricks, but our bricks connect to all Lego bricks. And so then if you wanted to say, hey, we're actually going to take a focus now, and you're going to take all the learning that you have from using all these different motors and sensors, et cetera, and now we're going to change focus personally, and we're going to focus on city planning and making buildings, you'd probably need to invest in some additional loose bricks, but those would all interconnect to what is part of the Spike Essential set, and students could absolutely, that sounds like an amazing iterative project.
Yeah, thank you.
That's exciting.
Great question, thank you. Just one quick other housekeeping thing, since I'm the housekeeper here. We will be sending out a recording of this afterward. So if you signed up for this, you will get a recording. Feel free to share it with your colleagues. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, we'll go from there. Let me just look. It looks like we have one other person who's raising their hand. Benedict, do you want to come off mute and share your question?
Sure. So first of all, this has been fantastic. I did miss part of it because I had to jump on another call briefly, but the question that I have is for folks who are not Lego experts. Does your group provide support, sort of training for the trainer to be able to roll this out? And the reason why I'm asking is I'm part of a school district where I'm actually a vice president of PTA who's trying to bring it to the school to basically pitch it to the teachers to participate. So I'm going to need some support to do that. I'm just wondering if you offer that to folks that want to get this off the ground.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you would want support kind of helping to convince people that this would be valuable to invest in.
Yes, we know we're going to invest in it, but we need to enable the folks that would roll it out and also pitch it to the principal to say yes. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So that is where you could, I don't know if you know who your account manager is, but your account manager, what I would imagine would happen, here's one thing that could happen, is your account manager would reach out to you and say, yeah, let's figure out a meeting where these people can actually get hands-on with the solutions to really understand what they're getting themselves into, right? They may decide, hey, we actually want to bring a solution architect to this meeting. That would be my role, to really support what I've been in your shoes, here's how you can implement it, here's how you can be successful. So we absolutely, if you have people that you're wanting to kind of like bring over on your side, my response to that would be, let's have them actually hands-on with the materials, and that's something that we would absolutely support.
Okay, great. And then I came, sort of sought this information out myself. So I don't have an account manager. How do I figure out which one is mine? And that's my Miles trying to say hello to everybody on the call.
Hey, I'm a dog girl. Miles, you keep being you. So David had said to put in the chat, you can email.
It's the email. I'll put it back in the chat because I know it gets buried really quickly.
Awesome.
But sales@legoeducation.us is the email address. And I should say you will get a follow-up email with the recording and things like that. So when all else fails, you can also reply to that, and we'll have some contact information in there. But we'll definitely get you in touch with the right person.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Benedict.
Thank you. All right. I see someone else has their hand up, and we have a few hands, which is great. Shanikia, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, I can go ahead.
Thank you.
Can you hear me well?
Yep, we can hear you great.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to know, because I'm working with one of our local universities to do this as kind of like a summer program / after school kind of thing throughout the year. So I know I did see some material where it listed like here's a whole day event, but I know our days wouldn't be full 8-hour days. It probably wouldn't even, at best it may be 3 hours. So I guess I'm kind of like, do you guys offer like alternative breakdowns on how to okay.
And so here's the thing too, our lessons typically, each individual lesson typically falls around 45 minutes long. So for them to be able to do the build it, code for it, that's 45 minutes. Now you could easily make that an hour and a half lesson if they are adjusting the build or turning it into something else and then iterating on it and then writing what the changes that they made. If they're collecting data on it and then now you're doing a math portion, there are definitely ways to extend that. And I would say if you look at the full day or even like a half day offering, you could pull things from that and say, you know what, every day to fill our 3 hours, we're going to do the lesson and we're going to do the journaling time and we're going to do this. To really make sure that 3 hours is used in a really highly successful way.
And then I had a follow-up to that one, which would, with pulling the pieces out, because I do have a few neurodivergent, diverse children in the class.
Those are our people, yes.
And so I just wanted to make sure, like when I'm trying to pull, I'm not pulling in such a way that I hinder their experience.
Absolutely. So I'm not a medical doctor, but we find that many students get very excited to work with Lego bricks, but there is a lot of research out there that supports that students that may have autism or other neurodivergent strengths and challenges really gravitate towards this type of modality and are really successful towards this type of modality. And I've had experiences from educators, including my personal experience, where I've gone, holy cow, that student that we could not get to engage with anybody, and we couldn't find the thing that was going to make them really excited. They are like so invested, so excited, and they feel successful. They are successful. Their peers are seeing them successful. Their peers are seeing them as another person in the classroom that's interacting and being successful with them. So I'm going to stop there, but I could go on all day about how our solutions are wonderful for all students, but particularly impactful for students that may have a number of strengths and challenges, including language challenges. Whether or not that you're learning English, but you may just have social challenges or neurodivergencies. So I'm going to put a pin in it because I get really excited, but I would say absolutely I would have those conversations heavy and strong because I think you would find that those students in particular would just really find so much benefit.
Excellent. Thank you for that question and for your explanation, Caitlin. Any more questions? I think Shanikia's hand's still up, unless you had another question, Shanikia. Oh, perfect. Just making sure. Robert, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Robert.
So you mentioned project-based learning. So some of the curriculum PBL?
So our lessons are project-based learning. And so every day there is a project where, and you are speaking my heart, Robert, because I was the principal of a project-based high school. And so every day they have a project that is a problem that they are solving to support something that they need to find a solution for in the world. And then from there, I always encourage for them to be iterating on it and to identify another problem and then how they're fixing that with the same project. And so in terms of if you're at my school, we would have symposiums where students had to present their different projects. And this would be a portion of them presenting their larger project, how they perhaps built a prototype or how they created a code that would work towards solving one of those problems. Sometimes some of this sounds really high level, but the things that I'm talking through are as relevant for kindergarten as they are for 12th grade. And all of those aspects are embedded in our lessons.
You know, it seems like that definition of PBL changes all the time. To me, it's confusing. But so is this something that can be done, say, in a 4-week program? Is one driving question? Or is it just daily?
Great question. So we have daily lessons, but those are a part of our units. So we have units of study. So for example, I will give you an example. For Spike Essential, we have one that focuses on an amusement park. And so there are many different aspects to the amusement park that you are building and having to solve problems for. And that includes the entrance to the amusement park, different rides in the amusement park. And then the culminating project at the very end is take all of the foundational skills that you learned from this unit and now create a custom ride for the amusement park or a custom attraction that somebody could enjoy, but also that is accessible to a number of different people at this amusement park. So they have a daily problem or project, and then there's a culminating project at the end of the unit.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Robert. And I hear you. I agree with you. I do feel like project-based learning is ever evolving, and for good reason, right? But it can be hard to track sometimes.
All right. I think we've done a pretty good job in the chat. I can hang around for another couple minutes, Caitlin, if you can too. Maybe we can just answer any stragglers' questions. But other than that, I think we're all good.
Awesome. We so appreciated spending this time with you today. And we just really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. So thank you so much. Would love to continue any conversations about how we can support your teams, your families, your staff, your students, 100%. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your great questions, too.